we are at an incredible event. This is my 6th year at Contact in the Desert, and I really like to thank the organizers, Victoria and Paul and all the team and the crew, for inviting me. Keep inviting me. A crazy guy from South Africa that tries to change the world, and they keep inviting me for some reason, and I really feel honored and grateful that I can come here and share the research and the philosophy with everybody. So thank you very much. There are brilliant speakers this weekend. You know, the lineup here is unbelievable. I feel quite insignificant in the presence of some of these people here. And yet, what I find, listening to everyone and all the research and the brilliant ideas and philosophies and everything, I come here with a certain amount of knowledge and information. And by the time I leave here, I realize how little I know. We arrive here knowing so much, and when we leave, we realize that we actually know less than we thought. And this is the beautiful part of this journey that we take. And this kind of situation is happening more and more around the world. We keep seeing new discoveries. Every year, every month, every week, there are new discoveries. And I'm finding this fascinating because I'm just going to take you through a few examples. Like this here in Guatemala, new discovery, 60,000 new structures discovered. You know, now there's this new technology called Lidar. I'm sure you've all seen it. It removes the vegetation, and suddenly there's like magic. You can see all the stuff underneath the trees. Whoa, we didn't see this. And in many ways, it reminds me of the discovery of the stone circles in ancient civilizations in South Africa, because you can't see them until you get rid of the trees and the weeds and the grass, and suddenly there are millions of them. And no one's been paying attention to this. And then this example here in Turkey, this is, Norsuntepe in Turkey, which until some time ago was one of probably the most mysterious places in the world, but now I believe it's under a dam. They built a dam over it, and so we can no longer explore it. And it seems to me that this is actually the strategy and the agenda of the elite. If they don't want us to see something, they just flood the place. They build a dam and they get rid of a lot of places that we can no longer explore. And that is the case in Egypt. If you don't know this, many of the most impressive temples in Egypt are not the original temples. They were broken down and moved to higher terrain, and then they flooded the whole area there. So hundreds of temples in Egypt lie below the water. These mysterious towers in China, more than 800 towers in China that make no sense. They can't figure out what these bloody towers are for. And so the more you look at this, some of this information is old, but it's new to some people. So it might be old information, but it's new. So it's constant rediscovery of either new stuff or old stuff. It doesn't matter. It just highlights the fact that there was stuff going on in this world that we've got no bloody idea about. The Wasu stone circles in Gambia, Africa. It's just mysterious, beautiful ancient structures that completely boggle our minds. This interesting Baltic Sea anomaly that, some of us will be aware of. What the hell is this? Why is it under the ocean? What was it? Was it a spaceship? Is it an ancient platform? What's going on here? And then obviously the pyramids around the world. Some of us may not have seen this Garut pyramid in Indonesia. There are thousands of pyramids around the world. It's very obvious by now that the ancients were building pyramids in numbers that we can't even imagine. There were just thousands and thousands of pyramids. And then we get to the strange structures in the Middle East, in Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Iraq, Iran. There are ancient structures there that have never been seen by modern people, by modern eyes. And if you just go snoop around on Google Earth, you'll just be absolutely blown away about what you find. I can't tell you what these are for, what this is about, but I can tell you that it is probably not what we think it is. That's what it keeps coming back to. And then in the more sort of visited places of the world, like Newgrange Island, the drought in England recently brought out or suddenly showed up a lot of ancient structures that have never been seen before. Right next to Newgrange, this beautiful stone circle, or this beautiful circle that appeared. Over here, you can see it. This is not a very good picture. I should find a better example. But it just shows us how these ancient civilizations have left fingerprints all over this planet of ours, and we are just rediscovering them. This is some Roman ruins in Wales, or they think they're Roman ruins. Some more ancient ruins in Wales coming out of the crops, and so it goes. And then one of my favorite places, favorite mysterious places, is what's known as the Eye of the Sahara in Mauritania. This is just really, if this is new to you, I suggest you go and have a look at this. I could spend an hour just talking about this place here. But at this stage, it seems like a very likely candidate for the mysterious and mystical Atlantis. If you look at the size of this, it is very, very close to how Plato described Atlantis and the sizes of Atlantis. This is another angle. But it gets a little more weird than this. I'm not going to go there yet. I'm going to come back to this later in this presentation, if we have time. It's called the Eye of the Sahara. I hope I'm giving you a clue with that. And then this weird PC board grid in Algeria, Africa. Can you see this PC board grid here? This is in the sand, in the soil. This is not someone's drawing on top of the picture. Let me zoom in for you. What's going on here? Is this the substrate? Is this like the foundation of the computer game that we're the players in? The surface of the world? And all the sand and the soil and the rocks and the mountains are piled on top of it, and the vibrations come through this grid that actually make the mountains and the valleys and everything else? Is this it? I don't know. It may be. That's how weird things are. Maybe we do all live in this virtual reality. It's just so bloody real that we bleed and we hurt. But that's how the reality was constructed, so that we do feel pain, thinking that it's real. And ultimately it comes down to that. We think this is real, but actually it's over in the blink of an eye, isn't it? Just like that. And if you've been an asshole, you're going to come back and feel that pain again. So, you know, check yourself every time you project hatred against somebody. If our pineal glands were active, you'd be pushing that hatred against yourself, right? Keep in mind that if our pineal glands were awake and we were fully conscious beings that can communicate with full ESP, every time you hurt somebody, you will feel that pain. So it's impossible to hurt somebody or create any negative kind of vibrations or feelings if our ESP and our connectedness was fully awake. I'm completely going off the track now, but this is why, and tomorrow I'll be going into great detail about this, why these ancient manipulators of our DNA went to so much trouble to disconnect our pineal gland and all the other organs that are connected to that, because they had to completely disconnect us from our ESP capacity. Otherwise, we would not be capable of committing any crime, any hatred, any violence, any pain, any torture, none of that. It's impossible for conscious beings to do that.